And welcome to, of course, Raw and Uncut. I'm Louise Hart, and I'm here, of course, with Dra, and Lee, and me. I'm Louise Hart, and for the next hour, we're gonna, talk some shit that we normally do, deal with some headlines, just some serious headlines to deal with today. Of course, one of our guests tonight will be from the Animal Welfare Network. Her name is Sita, and she's gonna come here and have a little chit chat with her. Right? So let's get on with the show, so to speak. So now, I like tonight's monologue. It's called "Tale of Two Trainees." Right? They're in New York, and it's a true story. I promise you, it's a true story. All right. So this is a story of love and embarrassment. A sort of Romeo and Juliet meets 50 Shades of Grey, I guess. So this couple, both Trinidadians, one living in New York, the other lives in Port of Spain, had a secret love affair for many years. It was kept secret because she was married. Right? So she would visit him in Port of Spain, and he would visit her in New York, or sometimes they'd go to like Barbados or Miami, and have like secret rendezvous. But this time he had gone up to Manhattan to visit her. So as the story goes, they had a wonderful time during this particular visit. They would sometimes go shopping and have romantic lunches during the day, going to the best restaurants in Manhattan. At night, she would have to leave him and return home to her husband, get him just in time before he got home from work. And at night, he would sort of be perusing the red light districts. Men, they're dogs. So one day on one of their outings, they sort of visited a sex shop and decided to buy some toys, some gadgets, some handcuffs, and stuff to heat up their already heated sex life. So they returned to the large hotel they were staying in downtown Manhattan, eager to have fun with their new toys. On entering their hotel room, they decided to run a bath. They were going to do a thing in the tub, And while they were waiting for the tub to fill, they decided to try on some of the restraints, and have some teasing fun with the toys that they had just bought. The handcuffs were adorned, restraints were set in place on the bed, clothes were stripped off. Right? And then, with the intent of taking turns, the guy decided to go first and be tied. There is a crucifix style to the bed. All this is true, guys. This is again the gory details. So both slave and mistress were very excited.
It's 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, boy. So the guy strapped to the bed was now enjoying every minute of the teasing and whipping at his eager mistress was doling out on him. Now, she, overcome with excitement, jumps on top of him, sort of like reverse cowboy, reverse cowgirl, sorry. You're at this, right, Dra? Reverse cowgirl? Come on.
Why are you asking me if I know
And
sex positions? I'm an adult.
Know.
I am in my 30s. I know.
She knows all.
I didn't say I know all, but I am well versed.
She made up her own.
So, reverse cowgirl, you know what it is, right? So, and she's now gyrating on him as hard as she could. He now is in heaven, mesmerized by a hot, extremely sexy body, and absolutely enjoying the pain with the pleasure. Right? Then suddenly, bam! Swear! The hotel room bust open. Now, suddenly in the hotel room was police, along with the concierge from the front desk, and a whole bunch of angry people, a mob. All of them inside the room. He, now worried for her safety, tells her to grab her clothes and flee the scene, which she does with amazing speed and agility. It actually astounded him, leaving him still naked and strapped to the bed. So what happened was, remember before all the S&M shit started, they were filling the bathtub. Well, they forgot about the bathtub. And the bathtub overflowed. And it overflowed into the tiles in the room, onto the shag carpet, under the door to the room, down the corridor of the hotel, under the doors of all the other rooms. And the people in the on the floor started to call downstairs to the front desk. But they would try to call the room, but these two were so hot and sweaty on the sex, they had knocked over the phone, so the receiver was off the phone. Like one of these.
Oh, shit.
So it was off the hook. So they needed to make a forced entry, the front desk. To do that, they have to get police permission. So they rang the police. The police came. Blang! They bust down the door. The police, the concierge, the staff, and everybody on the floor bust into the room to find out this whole sex thing. So eventually the police had to uncuff the poor Trini. This is the woman done going, Uncuff him, right? Because the room was in his name anyhow.
But
Take a report from him.
They were married. What you
No,
said?
one was married. She was married.
Oh, this is,
Oh.
And when you said I thought they were
No, I said
married
she was
to each other.
No,
It's
she
a
was
hot
married.
affair, okay.
No, so it was. So she used to leave. She used to spend the days with him and then go
Okay.
home to the husband at night. So the police know how to take a report from this guy, right? And he had to pay $2,000 in damage because he had to pay the. Thank God it was only water. The wet vac people had to come and wet vac all the rooms on the whole floor. Plus he's paid about $700 he gave out in tips to everybody who was working.
Oh shit.
So, but the worst part was after this whole horrible shit happened, he still had another week to stay in the hotel. And every time he would go in and out, all the workers and stuff would snicker at him. I think they thought the girl was a prostitute.
But must be she run out and leave him.
You know?
I mean, how
No,
sick
but
is
she,
that? If
yeah,
you're
but I
doing-
mean, you saw her naked, she married, you know.
But
And
that
he
is
tell her
an
to
ex-
run,
but that
but
was-
she ran so fast it even shocked him. How fast she
But
disappeared.
that's what I'm saying. You at least come back and check to see what happened because you somewhat responsible for that too.
But I think she did come back. She did come back. They continued the affair. She didn't stay away. Because, you know.
But he dotish.
Well,
I would have stopped that.
Why?
I don't care how that reverse
If the sex
cowgirl
hot.
was going.
If the sex hot, what do you ask?
No. Because if
So-
anything happened, no.
But the thing was, but it didn't end all bad because the way all the staff and them was still snickering at him. Do you know that 3 of the female staff hit on him? He had sex with 2 of them, and 1 of the male staff, well, he didn't have sex with him. But the staff were like, women love these kinky, weird, bad guys.
Yeah, boy.
So 3 of the women staff hit on him. He had sex with 2 of them, and 1 of the gay guys who work in there too. I think it was the corner search. Maybe they
So
saw
he was-
something
he-
they
he
liked when
was
they
just,
walked in the room. I don't know.
He was just real fluid then.
But you know, America's different to locals. Them kind of things to them is
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Normal.
So there it is. And it is a true story. I certify it.
Were you the man?
Because it was him.
That's
Don't
what
ask
I
questions
want to
like
know.
that,
No,
ask
but then
questions, you
he'll
know what the
be
answers to now.
admitting that he had sex with the concierge as well.
So that was a true story by Lou, and I certified. Louis Hart certified it. All right. Don't ask me more questions than that. So in the comments, they send you questions. Ask Louis, but don't ask that question. Right. So let's get into our headlines tonight because we have a lot of them to get through. So we'll launch with a. 2 men were shot dead during an exchange of gunfire with police officers at La Puerta de Martin near Broome Street. What pisses me off. This is Broome Street here. And I pass there every morning to go to the gym. I cannot believe. Reports reveal that shortly after 12:30 p.m., officers of the Western Division received information that 3 men in a vehicle were on their way to carry the robbery, which very rarely happens. Officers responded to the report and saw the suspects in the vicinity of Broome Street. Police sources say they called on the driver to bring the vehicle to a stop, but the occupants reportedly fired on the officers, who then returned fire. Now, I want to congratulate, because I'd still told you I wasn't going to be talking about gangster on gangster thing, but this is police on gangster, and this shit very rarely happens when our police service actually gets to intervene in a crime before it happens. And shoot motherfuckers. I'm sorry, I don't care, they deserve to die. You know what I mean? They shoot their ass, kill them. Good job, police service. Hats off. You know, I come down in here when all your thing, but you know what? When all you do good, praise, enough praise for y'all. Lay them down. I fed up at this crap. But Lee have a bit to say in this story too. So Lee, please tell them how I really want to kill you this evening.
Well, I nearly did. Yeah,
Twice.
it was close to the area.
Close to the area.
Yeah.
Close to the area, he said.
A little close to the area. And I was just liming with my partner. And we just started here. Bang, bang, bang. So, we want to know what's going on. But it's going on for a while. Like, we say like 2 minutes it was going on for. So, I pull out my phone and start to record. Because we could tell it coming up from on top of the hill now.
Feel like a street down from it.
Yeah, but like a street down, but the street's not too close together, so so I'm gonna play my little personal recording I have here. Do not try this at home. I'm a professional bullet dodger.
Encouraging. And it was broad daylight.
So that's the shot today.
You hear that? What that is? Dog.
Here's the first shots. And if you listen carefully, it's here the return fire. Around here. Right? So you think you return fire is the police with the automatic weapons?
Assuming the police is automatic.
Say again?
Assuming the police is the automatic weapons.
Yeah.
But one of them guns real low.
Yeah,
Bang,
that one real
bang.
loud. That's the one that got the attention. So then we were like, all right, 5 minutes pass, and then we hear sirens. So we say, well, police took a while
And
to...
you decide just to film the whole thing.
Well, we say police took a while to reach the scene. So when we look outside, we see police.
And that's it. Or the police coming down
Yeah,
from...
so the police going down here.
Oh, right,
So
right.
that's where we make out the scene that the police was already
So
there.
you thought, and that boy was gangster
Yeah,
fighting.
we thought
and
it was
that.
gangster fighting gangster. We realized it's police with the shooting, and then we hear all the extra, all the whole scene with the shooting.
But that damn gunshot was real loud, man.
But the article says that police got information around 12:30, but I recorded at like 11:50.
And you missed like about 2 minutes of it.
Yeah,
So that really shooting started about 11:49.
Yeah, but the article said that police got the information 12:30 and stuff. But
You know that.
You know, Satish, I have the cold. I have a fever. And my hands are like ice.
ice
Yeah,
cold,
they like
ice cold
ice, for
fingers.
sure.
Ask Luis.
Yes, they like ice. She stabbed me with them needly cold fingers. And then we need to talk about this nasty fuck that record this video. It's all over Facebook. Ashamed to have to say this. This what is that, 7-year-old child that he filmed having oral sex with, and then I don't know how it came, but was it that he posted? I think the grandmother recognized she saw the video.
I don't know how the grandmother found out. I didn't realize that he had posted it on social media because I mean.
Did he post it on social media? Was that how it went?
We don't know how it get onto social media.
But it was on social media.
Yeah.
But that's sick. I mean, that's sick. Why would you post
I
child
feel they have a
porn?
little community of them, and they probably send it to each other or some nastiness like that, and it's get out sometimes or something.
Or some shit, you make a mistake and post it by mistake, but
Or somebody get in your phone, something.
Or maybe they were sharing it as like, you know, in Facebook you could send as a message and then somebody probably went shares on a timeline or something, and that's probably how it came out. But the grandmother found out, so went to the police, and then she went and she told the neighbors. She told the neighbors and they beat him.
They beat the fuck out of him.
No, they should have beat him more than that because
Really?
they're looking for him. They're looking for him now.
But at first, they were saying that it was filmed in Jamaica or something, and then, it's from Diego Martin again. What the fuck going on, Diego Martin? I thought Diego Martin, what is going on in Diego Martin?
Oh, boy.
I can't understand that, boy. Jesus, I hope the police catch up with his ass. Disgusting. And this poor child too. I think now the child in protective services. The trauma this child must have gone through.
The reports I read said that they were questioning the mom and all of that. Because in situations like that, you know, they never like they never like to say exactly who the male is to the child.
Yeah.
But then there's always
It's
drop
always
some line.
uncle or something.
There's
Everybody know because they beat his ass.
Yeah, but normally what's happened is there's drop a line in an article that will pretty much be explained. They say like a close relative of the child, and usually that's the father, or a close friend of the mother, and that's she boyfriend.
Right.
So that they will kind of semi-sell it out without saying anything, so they don't get libel.
I'm glad they beat his ass. Hope they hang him. That should be a hangable offense. Honestly, that kind of shit should be a hangable offense.
No, but I mean,
I'm not joking.
He will get what coming to him
Because
when he reaches the jail, though.
The thing is that the trouble with child molestation, it is one of the highest repeat crimes. It's a sickness. You remember that show they used to have to catch a predator with was this Hansen guy? Chris Hansen used to do it.
Dateline.
You know, I remember once in a show at one time they started arresting them. When they caught them, when they set up these things. But at first, they just used to let them walk out. And they used to, of course, report it to the police afterwards. But so in the earlies, when they used to just walk away.
Real trainees used to be in that.
He catch a friggin' dude, and the dude cry and all kind of thing and walk out. You know, they set up a thing, same there at a different location. Catch the same fucking guy again.
With... And I think the other Trini one who wanted to have sex with a cat and thing.
There was more than one Trini guy that got caught on our show.
Oh my God.
Serious?
Yeah.
One of them
Fuck.
was talking about having sex with a cat and thing, all kind of shit. We are the weirdest people.
That's disgusting. That is disgusting.
It's just, I don't know what the fuck they say. It's just like, I am stunned. And then we have this now, a 14 and a 15-year-old charged with killing a man and shooting a woman. A 14 and a 15-year-old Would you believe this? 2 teenage boys are expected to appear before an Arima magistrate. Well, I guess today they would have done it. Charged with the January 25th murder of Francis Stafford and wounding a woman. The accused, a 15-year-old and a 14-year-old, are also charged with the possession of firearm and possession of ammunition. They shoot this man. He's a landscaper. I don't know what the hell went on there. And he was with a 24-year-old woman. I mean, a 14 and a 15-year-old.
They might not even do much time, seeing as they're so young.
They don't give their names here, but you know what? I'm sorry, if you're 14 and 15 years old and you're old enough to pick up a gun, you're old enough to dead. Seriously. The police put a bullet in your ass, but I give them all props for doing it. Because, I'm not playing that. I'm not playing that shit. In fact, it sort of bring us to, to this thing that went on in the school.
Mm-hmm.
If we could talk about that a little bit. Because as much as we talking about Shana, I know we kind of jumping out of them, but I want to get the stories in, the ones I really want to talk about more. So they had a report about some school on, I think it's Valencia, where it's gang thing. The minister of education was talking about, he claimed the principal report denied allegations that people had been seen scaling the fence. Now, this thing happened because it happened out of school in front of a fast food, I want to call the fast food place name. Right, where it looks like a gang of girls, and we managed to get a video that doesn't show any of their faces, but you could get the idea of the violence involved with these young kids. Play the video. You need to see this. Go ahead. They only show the back of their heads. But we have more explicit video that we could show that we choosing not to, for obvious reasons, because it's kids and they don't want to see the. Look at this last one. I mean, it's amazing. And they beat this little girl up. But then there was a retaliation because of that. The next day or whatever it was, or maybe later on the same day, I'm not sure. But the minister says this never happened. Before I play it, I want to read what he says. He says that he had looked at I'm in the wrong place. Right. So he says he claimed that the principal's report denied denied allegations that people were seen scaling the fence, and it was in retaliation for that fight you just saw. He said that scaling the fence thing never happened. It was not true. Students were not involved in the altercation. He says all that was untrue. It's totally false. Garcia stated that the preliminary investigation revealed that the students were between the ages of 13 and 14. 13 and 14. I can't understand this. The major perpetrator is a Form 3 student, and 2 others are in Form 2. These minor offenses, he said, I see no need to blow this out of proportion. After seeing that video, I do agree with him there.
What making me sick, right? But what you telling me there is I don't know if it's in your headlines, but that this same minister of education, the same idiot that when female teachers saying that male students are grabbing them and touching them inappropriately,
you want to blame it on
he says, well, you need to dress better than that. You're not dressed appropriately to teach young boys, so they must grab you. I mean, what the hell is wrong with people? And this is a whole global discussion right now, and you telling me that the problem is how the teachers dress? No, and I keep saying it. People need to teach young boys. They're not entitled to touch anybody.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. And stop doing it.
Training, basic manners. You have to respect that they're supposed to treat every woman as you would treat your mother. I mean, that is where I was brought up. Anyhow, so he says that he's scaling the he said, despite the Garcia's claims, short video clips of the incident posted on social media showed a female teenager armed with a piece of wood climbing over the fence and entering the school. So he's saying this didn't happen, Lee. He's saying that this never happened. So then what is this we're watching here? Lee, no, nobody has scaled the school. And watch his side of it if listening to the how much I'm coming in. In fact, the students in the inside, it is screaming. Look at them. Look at them. So they did. So I don't know where the minister get off. I leak his face there, so I want to show on the kids' faces. But so they did. A group of them came in, and that video actually goes on where you see the horde of them trying to, like somebody got the smarts enough to lock the entrance door to the school, and that whole horde of kids were banging on that door. So the minister need a reality check. Understand? And 13 and 14-year-olds. What the ass going on, boy? I don't know. I just don't know what to say. It is just absolutely ridiculous. Shameful. Be out of control. And this is Valencia. You wouldn't think it's some badass urban areas. This is Valencia. It's kind of countryside, and you figure. Let's move on now, I guess, to TN Tech. TN Tech actually get audited, would you believe? At last, somebody besides me getting audited, and realize that, that they ridiculous spending too much money spending on labor over time and time. It's just ridiculous. And they owing NGC a set of money too that they owing. Can't get it paid. Now they're saying that they're going to have cutbacks in that too. So, what heading for anybody working in TN Tech in the next year is not going to be pretty. But, they're making some good points too. They need to retrain people. They want to they want to do away with drivers. So I'm no driver of a truck and then have somebody working. You have to be able to. I mean, they hired Filipinos at one time as contract workers that used to drive the truck, climb up on anything, and do everything themselves.
Multitask.
So what they're saying is that they don't want to lose workers, but they want to retrain them for those who are willing to be retrained. I suggest you do so. Sorry, I think Dra gave me a cold. So I think our guest is here. Is our guest here yet, Dra?
Kendall? Yep. So,
Yeah.
So our guest
So
is here,
let's
so
bring
we'll
in.
have our guest come in now.
Should I help her? Hello. Hi. Have you confused?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Louise, come on. Please have a seat.
Have a seat right here.
Thank you.
So Sita is the name?
Yes.
Sita what? What's your last name I'm asking?
Kuravilla.
Curavilla. Oh, in relation to the Dr. Tibi Curavilla? Yes? And then my boy, I love Tibi to death. All right. So tell me, the Animal Welfare Network.
Yeah.
And how do you differ from like the TTSPA? And or you just do the same stuff, or you work in conjunction with them?
Right. Well, we differ because, we are an organization that it's a networking organization, so we don't actually have facilities. We have no shelter facility or anything like that. So what our aim was when we started off with nothing about 18 years ago.
18 years? Well,
Yeah,
quite some
2000.
time. Yeah.
Was to really try to harness whatever resources were available in the country already to get our animal welfare programs off the ground. So we have a huge veterinary community in Trinidad. I mean, we have a vet school, and vets are coming out every year. So we have vets everywhere. So
That's good, because I'm reading some news. We have a lot of animals. and two-legged ones.
Oh.
Don't read the news.
I know. I was listening to what you were saying earlier, and I mean, the whole problem with the crime situation and everything it spills over into every aspect of life. And for those of us who involved in animal welfare, it's a real problem.
Abuse of animals.
Well, and also trying to actually do anything about animal welfare, because increasingly, maybe 18 years ago, you didn't mind going here or going there, driving to the areas. People would call you about problems. Now you have to be more careful with what you're doing. And one of the other problems we have is that people are very afraid or apprehensive about dealing with their neighbors or people in the community where they see problems. So, we get a lot of calls, I want help for this particular situation or this animal. And you say, well, have you spoken to your neighbor or the person? Have you asked them? They say, no, I don't want to talk to them. People are just...
especially if you live in a bad neighborhood, I can understand.
Well, it's not just in bad neighborhoods. It just seems generally, people don't want to talk to neighbors anymore, or people don't want to deal with situations that are bothering them anymore. So they call and ask.
So it's like a neighbor dog barking in your head all night.
Well, we get calls like that.
Smother dog with a pillow.
Well, we get calls like that. We get calls like that too, or sometimes they invent, real bad scenarios, and when you go, you find there's some problem between the neighbors and so
they're
on.
just trying to cause trouble.
Yeah, or that the neighbors' dogs are actually.
So you all
bothering
actually
them.
will go to these locations and see if there's any abuse being committed on animals.
Well,
or will you call
we
the police to do it, or?
Well, we do what we can. We do what we can, and we do have some contacts in the police who will help us in situations where we don't feel we can go in or we need help and so on. But we do what we can. But there's really no underlying legal structure in the country that supports animal, dealing with animal abuse and so
maybe
on.
we should try and see if we could get some laws in effect that could put action on it.
Well, that's, I think, what all the groups are calling for. But I think if we want to get anything done, we're going to have to do a lot of work ourselves, and try and rally a lot of support.
I think people will get behind it. I mean, I would say 90% of people love animals, whether it's cats, dogs, or, And I certainly would lend whatever I can to help. I mean, because we really need to protect animals. People are so brutal to animals. I've seen some horrible stories that make you cry like a baby because you cannot believe that people could be so cruel to animals.
Yeah, it's well, I think, we see a lot of cruelty, but a lot of it, the majority of cases tend to be neglect cases. So it's
cruelty.
Because you think, I can feed a dog once a week or something.
What?
Or
you think it's like lack of education?
Or that they
sometimes?
don't need, or that I didn't know they needed to have water.
What?
Or I
People
don't know
say
they
these
need to have shade. Yes, because people don't seem to understand that the basic needs of all animals are the same as the basic needs of human beings.
What
Just food, water, shelter from the sun, all that kind of thing. Yes, a certain amount of freedom to move around and all of that. So people don't seem to understand. Some people don't understand that. And so in cases like that, you're really talking about trying to educate people and convince them and encourage them. And so we do a lot of, we will do a lot of that where we can. In cases where you're really dealing with frank cruelty, that's a much bigger problem, because people who tend to be downright cruel to animals are probably
criminals themselves.
Yes, abusive to family members, other people in the community, aggressive, violent, that kind of thing.
Because I'm a big fan of watching these crime things, and they've always said that a lot of these psychopaths, the John Wayne Gacy's and the Jeffrey Dahmers, and started off as committing these horrible atrocities on animals. That's how they started off.
Like
and it's a common thing between them.
They start off with dead animals like carcasses and stuff, and then move on to live animals, and then.
Well, I think there's a lack of empathy generally, and in some countries they recognize the link between animal cruelty and abuse towards people, and they call it first strike. That's the term they use. So sometimes if you have people are called in to investigate animal cruelty, then the related agencies will come and investigate the situation at home and so on as well.
Actually, that's a very good idea. That's something we should be doing here, for sure. Because there's a link. I mean, there's no two ways about it. There's a direct link to possible other atrocities being committed. And sometimes it's hand off on children, because the children, and they're the ones who are affecting these horrible atrocities on animals.
But I mean, it's in the environment we're in right now. It's difficult sometimes to, you do what you can to assist animals, but the situation is so difficult generally with people that even trying to get, let's say, support from the legal system or the police service is difficult, because
they don't consider it as serious as murder.
Exactly.
So that's a shame.
I don't put it up, I actually messaged TTSPC on the 16th of January this year. And I said, can we bring in an injured stray dog? Because one of my friends' street has an injured stray dog, and one of the legs is walking on 3 legs basically. Has be there every day. But I said, right now our shelter is completely full. We would recommend you take her to a vet as soon as possible. The vets that come here only come to do vaccines, deworming, and spray neuter surgeries. So we definitely don't have enough facilities and stuff. And I showed it that vet's expensive,
Well, the thing is, with TTSPCA, I mean, it's pretty well known. Some people are very happy with it. Other people have not.
Right.
But I was involved with TSPCA for many years, and it's an organization that is overwhelmed with the amount of work that it has to do, because there are really almost no services in the country to support animal welfare.
And they don't get much from the government at all.
No, they depend. They actually
donations and stuff.
Donations, charging for services, and so on. But they do have, they have a vet who does a low-cost spay clinic, and they have a vet who's a shelter vet who's there twice a week, and she does all the rounds and checks all the animals and so on. But
And it is all volunteer work.
no, well, you have a core of paid staff because you know it's a it's a 7-day-a-week operation. You know, animals have to be fed every single day. Place has to be clean. So you have some core staff who are paid, and then you have volunteers who try to do extra.
Right. So
Extra.
the concept of the Animal Welfare Network was
Yeah.
what then? How
Well, when we started, many of us had been involved before, and with more the shelter-oriented work. So shelters basically will take in animals, care for them, try and find homes, that kind of thing. When we started, of course, we had no shelter, and that requires a huge amount of money. And running a shelter is a really expensive
Correct,
business
yeah.
if you're doing it
This is to
properly.
feed animals alone.
Yeah, it's expensive, and you have to consider all the things like sanitation and all of that. So we looked at what we consider to be like some of the key areas that would improve animal welfare, and so that's what we focus on. One is education. So we run like a primary school education program, which is very popular with the children and so on.
So the schools actually do it?
We run it in the schools.
All right,
We
okay.
have a education coordinator. We've set up a nice program. We have material to go with it and everything. So we go into the school and do it for free. And then our main program is a spay neuter program. So we
I believe in that 100%.
well, it's really birth control,
Really?
and it's the only way that you could humanely control like a dog population.
Correct.
So we partner with vet clinics, about 30-something vet clinics in the
Wow,
country.
okay.
And, for about 8 years, we used to run a spay week program. And then during that week, we just advertise. And the public could go in there. Initially, when we started, they would pay like $100 for a spay. And we would subsidize it. And the vets would do it for less. We've changed that now, and we're running it year-round. So at any time, people can
Right.
approach us and say, I want to get help. I want to spay an animal or something. And we try to, like if they live in South, we try to use the South clinics and so on. And currently, the public pays $250 for a
Right.
spay, and we pay the vet clinic another $200.
Yes.
And
But I mean, it's important to do that.
it's
I
important,
so
but
believe-
you know, in a normal spay is like $800, $900. People can't afford it.
No,
you
it's
know.
not.
But really, it's what should be done to deal with the
Yeah, it's always it's to get to the stray dogs. I see, like the Port of Spain city councils go around and collect the dogs. What what they do with those dogs? 'Cause I wanna, do they carry them to the TTSPCA or what? What is
Yeah.
the county council does?
They
city
take them
council?
to the TSPCA. Well, what happened was originally there was a pound in Port of Spain, right? It was located in sea lots, and it was terrible place. You know, the animals were just stuffed in there. They would be there for like a week or more. They'd have no food or water. They'd
my
kill
God.
each other. At one time, the pound used to flood in the rainy season, and they used to drown and everything.
My God.
So it was really bad. And, the TSPCA, they had discussions with the TSPCA, and they decided to close the pound. So the TSPCA then would receive from Port of Spain and 4 other corporations. They would receive the strays. They would hold them there's under the law that you would hold the dogs for a period of 5 days,
Right.
unless they're very injured or whatever. And then if you think you can place them in a home, well, you try to rehome
If
them.
not, you euthanize.
If you can't, you euthanize. You euthanize. But I mean, it's
I don't find it to be cruel. I know people think it's cruel. I don't find it to be cruel at all. I've been around dogs. My father was used to breed champions and
Yeah.
he was German Shepherd. I myself, I used to have Rottweilers. I've been around animals, and people say, I love animals, but I don't know if of course, you must have heard of Caesar Milan, the dog.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe very much in his philosophy when it comes to animals. Animals need a sense of purpose. I see people a lot that have animals. Yes, even if you have a big yard, but you need to take the dogs out of the yard, because imagine you're in prison in a yard for the rest of your life. they get ticks. You find them running up and down the fence all the time.
Zoomies.
They're chasing the tail. Sign of mental illness, and that's because these dogs are not being given attention.
Yeah.
Dogs should be walked hopefully at least every day. I used to walk mine every day when I had,
Yeah.
you know. A lot of people don't even realize this. They think, oh, the yard big, leave the dog.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's not
at
that.
least they're lucky if they're in a yard.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're in a
Apartment.
box
tiny
or something.
enclosure,
Right.
yeah, or they're chained all the time. I don't understand the chaining thing. I mean, if we could outlaw chaining, that would be like a major improvement in welfare for animals.
But chaining in general, or so we have dogs, and if people come in,
Oh no, I
chain
don't.
them.
Yeah, I mean chaining, like permanent
All the
chaining.
time, yeah.
Permanent.
And they never
chaining.
off the
People
chain.
have chained dogs for years, I think, you know.
Yeah, people will chain dogs
horrible.
For their whole
forever
life,
for their
yeah.
whole life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a dog like that is better off the euthanizer.
Yeah.
That's a mercy killing. It is, and a lot of these killings have to be because I'm sorry, I because I grew up in a dog family. My father, myself, my brother,
All of
they
y'all is
understand.
dogs.
Huh? All of us are dogs.
no, all y'all is dogs.
Yeah. Yes. I understand it. I understand you having to euthanize or putting a dog to sleep when it's ill, terminally ill. You can't help it. You can't confuse what you feel because you love these animals and you portray your love on them, and you're not seeing the world from their eyes and the suffering that they're going through. It's okay to love an animal, but it's not okay to keep an animal alive that shouldn't be alive because of.
Yeah.
So how many people because I know y'all try to place, because I see it because I follow you on the
Yeah.
Facebook, right? So I see people trying to home like kittens and
Lots
dogs and stuff.
Lots of people trying to home
So
animals.
how successful is that? And then with the TSPCA, with the euthanization after the 5 days, what would they do with the...
Well, TSPCA actually rehomes quite a lot of animals.
Okay.
People think, that's not that they put down all that. That's not so. They rehome a lot of animals. They have it's a very nice facility.
Okay.
It's clean. It's well kept. There's a center run for the dogs to get a bit of exercise. They're all spayed and neutered before they go out. They're vaccinated. They're wormed. Everything. But there are just far too many unwanted animals. It's just that is the reality. So even though they do rehome quite a lot of dogs and increasingly cats as well, they're just too many. You could be there on one day and like 20 dogs come in on that day, and a couple boxes of puppies, and it's just too many.
Do y'all do like the fostering stuff? Like how they have any states you foster a dog or...
We do fostering as well. I think one of the reasons that things are changing so much in Trinidad is also the exposure to, Animal Planet and all these kinds of things. So Trinidadians are
There is
seeing
some
that a
education
lot
going
more.
on.
So yeah, that there's education, but people have, their ideas sometimes they're not. I don't know. To me, they don't look around and see what's happening around them. Because if you really look at the situation, I mean, you go to any recreational site and the place will be full of stray dogs.
Correct.
Realistically, are you going to get people to take all these animals?
So I want a couple of weeks ago, I went to Mayaro, but there were stray dogs on the beach, but these dogs were looking very healthy. They're eating, they're exercising, running up and down the beach. I'm saying, wow, yes, you don't want these stray dogs, but these dogs seem to be fine. They're holding their own. They're happy. They're well fed because they're not skinny by any means. I don't know what they eat and how they eat it.
Well, maybe they are attached to someone
They're
or
running
a place.
in the water.
I mean, the best thing that you could do for dogs like that is to spay and neuter them.
Yeah, and just leave them. Because they seem to have a quality life. They're happy.
Sure.
They're playing with each other. They were four of them.
Yeah.
And they were playing with each other, running up and down the beach, and they were having fun, and they look well fed.
But talking about that, what about things like dog parks and recreational parks for animals, or areas of beaches or whatever that dogs can go to? Because sometimes, like, if I know somebody used to take his dogs to Maracas, and people used to freak out and be like, "Oh my God, he has his dogs here!" And
I think they put up a sign saying that you're not allowed to bring your dog to Maracas.
Yeah,
Never mind, they have stray dogs
I
running
think
around.
so, yeah.
yeah,
But,
well, I mean, so is there any sort of facilities for animals to?
Super early morning.
Well, I think here there's still very much a tendency to exclude animals, from most places. I mean, they'll tolerate animals, like you can take a dog maybe for a walk in the gardens or something, and it's still tolerated.
And you must have a muzzle on it.
Well, no,
around the savannah
no.
and saying people as being like,
Muzzles
I
are
used to take
only,
mine into the savannah.
yeah, muzzles
Away
really
from
only
people.
for that so-called classy dogs, but no, you can walk your dog without muzzles.
Right.
But it's not the general thing here that people will take the dogs for walks. Or,
Yeah, 'cause I know like savannah, like outside somewhere like the savannah would be a place where everybody taking their dogs to walk. But here, I must see one person.
I had a friend who used to take his dog there. He used to take videos and it just real rando because it would be after raining and the dog would find the one puddle it had and dive down in that and muddy down and couldn't go into the car after.
4 Rottweilers. They were well trained. I believe in discipline training. I even trained them. I think all these things is keeps your dog's minds active. And every day I used to walk them. And I used to live close to the savannah. And I would just take them on the inside on the grass. And even walk with them off leash because I knew they were trained, they would listen to me and they'd run around and play and I'd watch them or go on the sand track if no one's running on the sand track and let them run around and whatever else. But it's good to get them out every day and them smell things and see other things.
Yeah.
You know?
But people here have there's a lot of dog ownership, but I think to some extent, or it's because of security reasons, and it's not necessarily because people like dogs or want dogs around them, but they just want them for the security aspect. So the care of those is sort of not so good.
Sometimes people actually trying to think they're doing good for their pet and not. Like, I mean, nutritional needs for let's say an average dog or a cat. What are like the common things that people? Is there something that that every owner should do to make sure they're meeting the nutritional needs of their animals? Is there something that do's and don'ts of that?
Well, I think, the first thing is, people should at least feed their animals every day. I don't like to say, they must have particular dog chow and all that kind of thing, because people really, that sort of thing is expensive.
It is.
Some people can afford it, some people can't. And I mean, you
what the
see
dogs like sometimes
really
too.
happy dogs living in the country and they're eating rice and everything and they're doing fine. I mean, I suppose if you can afford it, it's good to have a bit, try and get some proper nutrition in, and some of the chows are pretty good. But I think if people really care about the animals and they don't have a lot of money, that shouldn't prevent them from having
That
animals.
dog food thing, I think I have a Netflix documentary about that, That's a whole bubble thing, That's a whole next
Okay,
thing.
Sita, I'm going to see any comments if people have questions for you.
Okay.
And I could probably...
But I had with a lot of large dogs, and
Yeah.
I mean, to feed them chow it was actually. So I used to go. Well, I don't know if they still do it because I haven't had dogs in a while. But I used to go to what used to be Hilo in those days and get the sawdust.
Yeah.
And I used to go by Primo and they used to have the pasta.
Yeah.
Right, because they were exercising a lot, and I'd mix it up and I put vitamins and cod liver oil on and stuff. Cook it down. I used to cook it down, boil it down in the food, and feed them. And then I had the vitamins I gave them that I literally would ram down their throat, hold them all closed until they swallow. I said, right, everybody good. Everybody got their vitamins every day.
Right.
They got their vitamins when they need to
Okay.
get it, and you
So
try your best to get it the best you can.
We have a question here from Karen. Yep, now, what is the TSPCA's view about the outbreak of distemper virus brought in from Venezuela via the back door when Huskies and others came across?
Well, I think I was still with TSPCA then when we started to get a lot of stories about Huskies in particular and other dogs coming in from Venezuela, coming in by boat from Venezuela. What we did, and in fact, I was going to Venezuela last year, at the beginning of the year, with a group to the Orinoco. And just by chance, we were almost hit Venezuela to go up the Delta. And there was a pirogue coming out with a group of people, and they had 2 husky puppies there.
Oh,
they were holding them up in this garbage bag. And they were heading for Trinidad, so they had an order to fill. So what we did...
Because they have puppy mills that
Yeah,
feed
yeah.
Trinidad.
They
But
have puppy mills.
how come, why Huskies in particular?
No, they have Huskies and pugs.
became popular, but they had pugs,
Pugs
you're
and
right.
stuff.
But why are they blaming them for bringing in?
No, so they get Huskies because of Game of Thrones, right? So the Huskies look like wolves, and that's the
become
whole
the
thing with the
popular
dire wolf thing. And then when they
trendy,
realize that they can't handle it, because the Huskies this
Way too
climate
hot.
is not for them.
Yeah, way too hot.
They just abandon them, or some people just leave their dog on the side of the road. The
my
pugs
God.
have a hard time too, and they selling pug puppies and stuff in pet stores,
Yeah.
and it's really
Well,
inhumane.
we wrote the Ministry of Agriculture Vet Services because they are responsible for animals, dogs coming in or into the country or leaving the country. And Venezuela, they have like 3 categories of countries with increasingly stringent rules. And Venezuela's in the 3rd category because, I mean, there are things like there's rabies and there's other kinds of diseases that you don't want to enter your own population. So we wrote the ministry, said, we have information on this. We've gone sort of undercover into a couple of the pet shops and spoken to people and asking them where the dogs come from. And they will say away, and then they'll say Venezuela. Well, this was in the early days. And we say, well, you have any papers for them? Well, they don't have papers, but if you want papers,
They
you
could
could
get
pay
papers.
$2,000 more and we'll get papers. So we wrote the ministry and we said, look, this is happening. You know, you need to investigate. You need to go into the.
Because we have a
pet shops
strong
and so-
quarantine. Because I remember I had a friend who brought dogs. My sister actually brought her dogs back with her, and it's like a 6-month quarantine. You have to go up there and see dogs every day and carry
Yeah.
food.
Well,
up
they've changed that now because they have something they call the pet passport.
Pet
and so now
passport,
they
yeah.
make sure that people have a number
so
of things
they
done.
They don't do quarantine anymore.
Well, no, they don't do it
A
anymore.
friend of mine took
Good.
it. Same dog that's jumping the pud
But-
in the savannah. He has
Yeah.
they got him a pet passport. There are a series of checks that have to be done on
Yeah.
the dog. They have to make sure that it's in alignment with what the country he's going to
Yeah.
would
And they
expect
have to be
and all of that.
microchipped and
And all of
another-
those
They
things.
reach microchip now too.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you that's if you want to leave the country. You know. They
The
need
only
to
thing
be-
is that they put the dog in the cargo hold of the plane.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all because sometimes animals die there with the exhaust.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah, and that was a flight to London. So a dog in there for 14
That's very
hours.
long, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. But the movement in from Venezuela is definite.
But then too, I remember back then when they used to have the quarantine thing, especially since I had experienced and gone through it. But I brought my dogs from Belgium way back then. I was back in the 80s, late 80s. It was I had to bring them quarantine. And I'd go
Yeah,
up every day
yeah.
and feed them and play with them and whatever else.
Yeah.
But then I used to see yachties coming here and bringing the dogs in the glass boats, and it used to piss me the hell off.
Yeah. Well, I
You know.
think it's rules are bypassed
It
all
always,
the
yeah.
time.
It's enforcement. That's always our problem. But Sita, I want to thank you so much for coming.
Oh, you're welcome.
I hope you continue the good work you're doing. And if there's anything at all you ever need us to, I've tried to
Yeah,
push you,
okay.
please let us
That'd
know
be
even
great.
more because
That'd be great.
everybody here loves animals.
Yeah.
You know, so thank
Okay.
you so much for coming again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And you never told me how you know TV.
How I know him?
Uh.
I married him.
Oh, you're TV's wife. And, I know
And that's
so
your
many
real
years.
boy? And that's your real boy?
But you always, because he's my doctor. Yeah, the man operated me, many times. About 6 times at least he's operated on me. Yeah, he's like, Louis again.
It's a good thing you didn't say anything on tour.
Tivi's my boy, man. I love him to death. When he tell me I said to say hello. Actually, I was actually thinking about bringing him on the show because he's always bringing up big about Trinidad and diabetes and stuff and how our diets.
Diet, yeah,
He
he's
always
talking about the
preaches
diet.
to me about that. So I was going to actually call him a call and see if I could convince him to come on the show and tell everybody that's what he's been buffing me about all the time.
Well, I'm sure you're watching. So.
Yes. So once again, thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Again, keep up all the good work. And please keep us in your mind. Okay. All right, sure. Have a good night. I never even realized. Tivi, you have a very nice wife.
You really watching the
Very,
show?
yeah. And Tivi's a nice guy. Very, a real gentleman.
Okay.
But where are we now?
Game time.
All right, so we play.
Kendall. This game is called Labor or Loving. So you're going to end up, you're going to get a
People don't be
picture.
asking who's Kendall in the comments.
Nobody cares who Kendall is.
Because every episode they all hear is Kendall.
Yeah, Kendall say, light say, stay just so, light stay just so. He said it twice. Just so y'all know. Kendall. So Kendall's going to put up a picture. I hope Kendall has them all ready. Kendall. Thanks. So he'll put up a picture and
Right.
it's of a woman's face. And you have to tell me if that woman is in the midst of an orgasm or if she's in the middle of labor. First one.
Okay. That's all, Gaza.
Labor.
That's orgasm.
Labor dog.
And that mouth, you could have, what would fit in there real good? I don't know. Maybe she's closing her eyes
Actually,
because.
I'm going to keep a tally to see who wins this time.
Right?
So what you saying, Luis? Labor or love?
I am saying, my hands kind of up in the air. That would be strange. So, when she grabbing on the bed head. Oh my God! It could be. Okay. I'm going with orgasm.
Labor?
I will stick with labor, yeah, but it really could be any.
I mean,
Okay. Well,
maybe she's closing her eyes. She doesn't get anything in her eyes.
it is loving.
Is it loving?
It's loving. It's orgasm.
Yay!
Next one, Kendall.
I would also say orgasm. I've seen the look of pain women have on their face when they're giving
I've never seen it, so.
Lee. Oh my gosh.
You never see a woman's face when she's giving birth. Trust
Yes.
me.
No.
You could kind of wonder about orgasm, but you always know a woman's face would be pain. Not to mention she normally cussing your husband.
Okay.
Orgasm.
I was labor.
Labor?
Yeah.
Again, that's orgasm.
Yes! I see, because I put that face on a lot of women.
Both faces. Both faces on one the labor, one on at least one woman. Next one, Kendall. Number 3.
That is Lamaze. That is she giving birth. But I find she calm.
Yeah, that's labor, yeah.
That's Lamaze. I know. I remember we
She
did that
breathing.
with your mother. We did that Lamaze thing.
But
And
would
then
it
when-
have been easier for her when she was having a kid because she was a dancer?
No, it actually made it worse.
Oh,
Because her
God.
stomach muscles was because she was so her mother was very muscular of dancing and whatever
Yeah.
else. It made it worse. But then we did this Lamaze. But when the child was coming, she was like, "Fuck this! you fucking did this to me!"
I can't laugh.
And I'm going, honey,
Don't
breathe.
make me laugh, please.
And she said,
Don't make me
breathe.
laugh. Because I will start to cough down the place in a very unattractive manner. That was
Lamaze went out
That was-
that went out the fucking window.
that was
like-
indeed labor. Number 4.
What if that's ever work?
You think Lamaze is labor? That is labor. To me, I have to say, why is it, boy? Because she kind of look like she's enjoying it.
Yeah, but it's how she turn.
Well, normally if you're flat on your back, but they do delivery sometimes on the side. I have to say orgasm.
Labor?
No, Kendall, you are wrong. It is loving.
Yeah, orgasm.
That's a labor too.
I hear Kendall through the wall. Number 5.
That's labor. Look at that face. That is labor. That is what children is do to their mother. Understand? You don't understand. It's a scary thing, and it is an amazing and scary thing to see a child. Lee, when you were born, your poor mother.
I nearly died.
What you doing?
He died.
What you doing? Labor
Yeah,
or
labor.
loving? Labor?
I say labor for everything so
labor
far, I
too.
think.
Labor.
Except the one I get right.
They both said labor.
It's actually loving.
Really?
Yeah.
He must have like a really big tooth. Looking like champagne.
Okay, number 6.
Oh God. But what's she doing? She in foreplay? She looking like she. That's obviously sex.
I mean,
In fact, can you give me?
is she giving a birth like that?
Could you
or
send
what?
me that photo?
I
I want it on my
a couple
phone.
of them that I was like, is anything happening at all there? Like, is
No man, I she look at the camera seductively and I'm
funny enough though.
It could be a trick one, labor.
Is it labor?
Lee is actually right for the second time.
No.
What?
Impossible.
Number 7.
Because like right now I'm slightly
How
aroused.
did you know that? How do you know?
Because this came from a quiz with the answers. This one is just a waitress. We're gonna skip this one because I can't believe
I
that's what that's
can't. She
supposed
can't
to
be
be.
given it.
Next
And
one.
the other one too, I call him
8.
foul on that.
Yeah, that one is fault, but I knew the trick one, I feel.
That's orgasm.
Actually, if
I
you
lost
watch
faith in this game.
If it's anything, had to be orgasm.
they have a big clue in this as to what it is. Kendall, you're talking loud. I can hear you through the wall.
Can want us to hear too?
And you're right, Kendall. You're correct.
I would have to say orgasm. Wrong?
Huh?
Orgasm.
Oh, that both of y'all saying that?
Yeah.
That's labor. She has a wedding ring on.
So difficult.
You take off your wedding ring,
That
have
is,
sex, or?
that is true. Married people don't have orgasms.
No, but no. I once did a project that showed that if like advertising and marketing things had a woman with a child, the woman almost not even at that time. So when I was in high school, always had on a wedding ring, always, and anything that had to do with sexual stuff, always had on a wedding ring.
Wedding ring got me in trouble in Ukraine, eh?
Oh God.
Because in Ukraine, there's where the wedding ring in next hand.
Serious?
Oh.
So I was in a moment, not realizing.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Next one, Kendall, 9.
Orgasm
Orgasm.
Yeah.
and possibly into a blowjob.
10.
But look at him out.
Well, if she orgasming, then he could probably finish
Yeah, I said
in
the
there.
eyes closed.
Slip it
Because
in.
it's kind of
Yeah.
burn when you get in the eyes, so I've heard.
No, it depends on the guy's diet. Next,
Really?
10.
I give you eating pepper sauce.
Hella pineapple.
Labor.
Lee, what you saying?
Because I can't believe anybody be having sex with no makeup on. Look at her. Look at her. She looking
There's
horrible.
nothing wrong with having sex with no makeup on.
Not even looking like that.
Well, that's after having a lot of sex. What do you think
No,
it is?
man.
What you said?
You still have to have
What
look
you
good.
said?
I said labor.
I would say the other one. Orgasm.
Loving?
Yeah.
Is labor Lee for once, man?
I said labor.
Yes.
You said
Lee got it wrong after saying labor continuously. All right, the next one, 11.
I don't know why about labor. Something about it just, looks like she's squeezing an enormous object out of her poor body. Well, man, let me tell you something, and I respect you for that. My mother always said that if man used to give birth, every family would only have one child because you'd never fool a man into doing that twice. Like, women, you all just forget the pain you went through.
I just wonder.
I don't know.
I just wonder.
I saw his
was
mother went
there.
to have
People
Lee.
will be popping out 11 children.
She didn't have any more
I,
children. Lee scared the shit out of her.
I wasn't there when the children actually came out, but like when my sister was having my nieces, I was I was present until they took her into the actual delivery room. And listen, no.
Men might say, no children or one child. Because you never fool a man again to have that.
Most people
I remember when I had 6 children.
Most
Next
people can't
one.
do the C-section.
11. Nah, C-section, dangerous. Next one.
Oh.
Orgasm.
Nah, how you gonna guess orgasm from that?
I didn't ask the last one, though. But,
You did. You said the last one was loving.
no.
Yes.
The blonde one, labor.
She's just looking.
This one looking like orgasm.
Yes?
What Kendall saying?
No, Kendall, what you think? Yeah, she in labor. You could tell the way she's doing Zen lie down on the ground, breathing
So she
exercises.
was in Zen orgasm?
You see the trouble with me and telling women faces when I'm having sex, I'm never looking at their face.
He's bad
Okay,
on
last
this.
one.
So many
last
things
one.
going on.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So who won?
You?
You,
By a
you
lot.
went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
you got wrong?
6, 7, 8.
I got 3 wrong.
I got like 3 or 2.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I got 5 wrong?
No.
I got 5, you got 8.
Yeah, 5 and 8.
So how many I got wrong? I got like 3 wrong. I'm sorry, ladies. I promise to pay more attention
You
to
got
your
2
face.
wrong. I mean, we vetoed 1
Yes.
because she looked like a waitress. Right, so your round, you have 2 minutes.
I have a 2-minute rant. My rant was kind of going to go on what was going on, what we had in the news today with these kids. And where are we going wrong with them when you have 14 and 15-year-olds killing people? I mean, what parents? This is parenting issues. This is shit that because we're not parenting our children properly. This is shit because we're not supervising them. It falls on the parent 100%. That's why I say that until a child is 18 years old, you know what? You would force people to parent the children.
But the parent
It's
is jail too.
if your child do something wrong, if your child damage somebody's car, you
go
gotta
into
pay
jail.
for it.
Yeah.
If your child stab somebody, you go into jail for it. You understand? So you're handling both the financial sufferance of your child and the actual criminal, because it is your fault. You need to take the time to parent your children. You understand? Because you say, oh, but Louis, you're being harsh. No, but when your child shoots somebody, stab somebody, do the shit that all those kids were doing, and that is mob mentality, Mob mentality to run out on the road, run down a girl into a fast food place, tear off the girl clothes. I mean, what the fuck are you all doing with your kids, man? You know why? I have one child. Look him right there. And I because you know I spent time to make sure I raise him right, and I knew that I didn't want I couldn't have another child if I couldn't invest that kind of quality time with them.
One child that we know of,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Lee.
No, trust me, one child. I was very you know your father on condoms. I remember I teach you about condoms, tell you about condoms. I do actually I learned that in England. I thought I was teaching. I think I learned it in England. That they taught that in class, huh, sir?
Yeah, sex ed.
Yeah.
They do that here at all? They do that in
No,
school?
they think that if they teach sexual education
you're
properly
promoting
here,
sex.
that you're promoting, you're encouraging the children to go and have sex.
So you know what? Well, getting back to this thing, you all need to stop having children. That's why people say, but Louise, you're hard on people and you're against poor people. And I'm sorry, no, against poor people. If you don't have the money or the time to raise a child, then you don't get to have a child.
Yeah.
It's not about your right to have a child, as I've said before. It's about the child's right to have a decent life. And a loving, caring parent that will bring up the child in the right way. Because we breed in criminals. And people don't like when I say that either, but it's fucking true.
The truth.
It is the truth.
What you?
You hear that?
Yeah.
I ain't care. Kendall, I don't care about Kendall.
Kendall,
I hope you
Kendall.
agree with me.
I don't know, but they having a big discussion in the back there.
So, guys, seriously, curb your animals. Really, because this is animal behavior. This stuff I read today, that's animal behavior. And that cannot be children. No way. No way in hell. You know. So, I guess that's all I have to say on it. But I really wish to start locking up parents when their children do criminal behavior. That would either force parenting on people or force contraception.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
You can get free contraception at your local clinic, your local family
I didn't hear any
clinic.
shit. They're wonderful places. They also do pap smears and all that kind of stuff. They do all that. All that stuff you could do. People think family planning is only about condoms. No. They could have a choice of contraception. You don't want to take the pill every day. They have IUDs. They'll put it in for you. You know, they give you the pills to take. Because some women, I can understand some women maybe in an oppressive relationship have a hard time with the husband don't want, and he might find the pills. He can't find IUD. Well, he can actually, but it's very hard. No, but the IUD is fine, and you have to think about it. You know, and they do all of that stuff. Go and get contraception. Stop breeding criminals. That's it. Thank you everyone for coming, for watching, for turning us on, and we'll be back again. Well, what's our schedule? Let's tell them next week Tuesday.
So next week Tuesday will be our last show until the week after Carnival. Because Luis he's a Carnival.
I have Carnival-related business, as everyone knows. And then I have to work on Monday and Tuesday. And I'm pretty mashed up after Carnival.
Yeah.
So I need a little week to rest. All right. But I hope you guys will check out our show next week. And we'll be here back on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Don't forget, 951 Remix. Raw, this is right. Raw and Uncut with Louise Hart. Dra. Say goodbye, Dra.
Bye.
Lee. Say goodbye, Lee.
Later.
Bye, everyone.